Welcome back once again, my dear friends. We are discussing about the scapula bone. So in the previous lecture we have discussed about what is scapula. You can see on the screen what is scapula, how to determine the size of it, what is its anatomical position, and what are the external features which it has. Surfaces, yeah, we have discussed it has borders, and then we have discussed that it has angles. And what are those important points? Please go and watch the previous lecture. Now let us see about the processes of this bone. How many processes does this bone has? So friends, it has three processes. What are those? The spinous process, the clavicular process, acromial process, and the coracoid process. So this bone has three processes. Let's go for it. First of all, there is a spinous process in it. So I'm holding right now this spinous process, and this spinous process is present in the posterior surface of it. So this is your spinous process, right? And here is the acromion process, and this is the coracoid process. How many processes? Three. First, the spinous process has two surfaces. And what are those surfaces? There is a superior surface and then there is an inferior surface. That's so simple. How many surfaces it has? Two surfaces, superior surface, and this is the inferior surface. Then it has three borders. What are those borders? Okay, let me mention it here. First, there is a posterior border. So this is the posterior border of it, right? This is the posterior border. Then there is a lateral border. So you can see here is the lateral border of this spine, right? This is the lateral border. So posterior border, lateral border, and then there is a third border which is called the acromial border. So this is your acromial border. So the spinous process has three borders: posterior, this one, lateral, this one. Why? Because this is the lateral side of this bone. So this is lateral and this is the acromial border. And this bone, this spinous process has a crest in it, which is called the crest of the spine. So with this blue or green color which I have mentioned here, this is called the crest of the spine. And the crest of the spine has two lips. It has an upper lip, right? And it has a lower lip. So the crest has an lower lip and it has an upper lip. Done. So there is a spinous process which has two surfaces, superior and inferior, which has three borders: the posterior, the lateral, and the acromial. I showed you. And this spine has a crest, which I'm right now showing with my finger. This is the crest. And this crest has a superior lip and an inferior lip. Right. Then let's go. So you can see here, this is the spinous process, right? Then there is the acromion process, right? The acromion process, okay, here if you can see here, this is the acromion process and this is the coracoid process. The acromion process is posterior, the coracoid process is anterior, like this, right? So this acromion process has two borders. And what are those borders? The anterior and the lateral and the medial. Why? Because this is the lateral border of it, this is the medial. So this bone, if I'm holding it in its anatomical position, it will be, yeah, it's the left one. So it will be like this. So this is the acromial process, and it has a medial border and a lateral border, and it has superior surface and an inferior surface. So we have written there are two borders of it, the medial border and the lateral border. Then there are two surfaces, superior and inferior, and then there is a clavicular facet in it, which it will make joint with the clavicle bone. Oh, I'm sorry, like this. So they will make acromioclavicular joint, acromioclavicular joint. So this is the acromial facet in it. So let me show it like this is the acromial facet in it, and this is the medial border, this is the lateral border, and this is the superior surface, and here is the inferior surface. Inferior surface, superior surface, right? Medial border, lateral border, and acromial facet in it. My dear friends, done. Then there is a coracoid process, right? And you can see here, this one is the coracoid process. It's a finger-like curved part of this bone. So this is the coracoid process. So this here we have this process which is called the coracoid process. So how many processes this bone has? It has three processes: the spinous process, the acromial process, and the coracoid process. You can see here, this is the coracoid process of this bone, and this is the acromial process and this is the spinous process. So here spinous process, here is acromial process, and here is the coracoid process. So it has three processes done. Now my dear friends, we have covered about the scapula bone, the external features of it, my dear friends, and every time I say that I will discuss about the muscle attachments of all these bones, inshallah. In the next coming sections of the lectures, I will record lots of lectures about the muscles also, so don't worry. First we will cover all the external features of the bones, then we will easily go towards the muscle attachments also, so there is no problem with us. The scapula, it has two surfaces, costal surface and the posterior surface. Then it has borders, it has three borders: superior border, medial border and lateral border. And then it has angle, superior angle, inferior and lateral angle. It has three processes: spinous process, acromion process and coracoid process. So friends, this was all about the scapula bone. Inshallah, in the next lecture I will discuss about the humerus bone in detail. See you guys in that lecture. Till then, Allah Hafiz.